When it comes to retro video games from the 1980s, things of a horror, religious, or gothic nature were a sketchy thing to base a game on, especially in the US, in contrast to Japan, which was fine with the horror genre. Of course, we had the Castlevania series on the NES and Master of Darkness on the SMS, where you hunt down monsters and vampires. But in these games, you are fighting evil, and especially in the US with Castlevania, a lot of things that were considered to maybe be offensive, such as anything related to Christianity, were removed. Other monster-style games were also on the cute side of things, such as Ghost House. In 1988, Ubisoft decided to break this trend with their DOS game, Night Hunter. You play as Dracula himself, and your goal is to start the end of the world. Night Hunter is a straightforward, side-scrolling game. No platform mechanics, weapons, and heck, you can't even run. While that keeps things at a slower pace, that is not to say that the game is boring. As Dracula, you have 3 things you can do to fight off your enemies. Turn into a bat and fly, turn into a werewolf and punch, and your final attack, suck their blood. Playing as Dracula and actually sucking all the blood out of your victims until they turn to dust is actually kind of shocking for a game in 1988. Being a werewolf doesn't help too often, as you can't actually kill your enemies in this form. The punch only knocks them back and stuns them. The bat form is used for escaping, and you have to fly over certain pitfalls and obstacles. Dracula moves at a leisurely pace, unless you're a bat, which allows you to move much faster. Being able to grab your victims and suck their blood is not an exact science. You need to be close enough for your arm to reach, but enemies can walk right past you if they are too far away or too close when you strike. There is a definite butter zone for your attack. Your goal in each level is to collect each of the 5 keys and 3 magical items so you can unlock the door that leads to the next area. To do this, you'll locate each item in its randomly generated spot and then find the door that a certain key unlocks and repeat. Some of the items and keys will sometimes generate in the open as well. Finding the items is a bit of luck, though if you play the game enough you can start to see patterns. You also need to be aware of the moon as it slowly moves across the sky as well. If the moon begins to set, you need to find the crypt in the level so you can sleep during the day. The levels are filled with religious and pagan symbols. Nintendo would have hated this game. If it wasn't bad enough that you played as Dracula and your goal was to suck the blood of the people walking around, the levels had no problems displaying crosses, churches, tombs, and pentagrams. You'll of course need to avoid all the people walking around. Some are out to specifically kill you, and others will hurt you only for protection. Hunters may include guys with bows, hatchets, and cops with guns that shoot silver bullets. The guys with bolts and bows are hell to fight, since they can spam you with hits from a distance. The cops' silver bullets will kill you in one hit in your werewolf form. Everyone that is walking around can harm you, but the ones with the short reach attacks, besides the guy with the hatchet, and sometimes the muscle guy who punches, seems to avoid you if they can help it. But they will stab you, splash holy water on you, or flash a cross in your face. The woman with the cross is almost as bad as the long-range attackers, since it does harm you from a distance, and even worse, it makes you freeze in place. Thankfully, she tries to avoid you more often than not. You'll also come across birds that can grab you and carry you across the level while your life drains. They can even drop you in water for a quick kill. These have to be the most annoying enemies in the game. There's also Van Helsing, who appears at the end of every level when you've collected all the items. He can kill you in one shot with thrown stake, so you need to avoid him at all costs. With 30 levels and a fun concept, this game has some great value. After every 5 levels, you'll collect a new item that is meant to allow you to start the end of the world at the end, so there is a definite goal, though I really just feel like the purpose is more arcade-like, with the progression being the motive. There are some issues such as its slower pace, repetitive nature, and frustrating spamming enemies, but it's still fun for a classic DOS action game. One of its major downsides is the lack of background music, and the PC speaker sounds from the background frogs and birds can cause lag each and every time. But looking past these problems, it has that fun arcade action where I just have to keep trying to get further and further. If you look, you can find it for download, and it runs perfectly in DOSBox, so I suggest giving it a try. You can also get it for Commodore 64 and Amiga systems if those suit you better. I'll see you next time.